Bam. Live. 30 seconds early. Few seconds early. My clock doesn't even say 7 a.m. Today we have a guy on named Jared Graybeal. Graybeal? We'll get the exact pronunciation when he comes on. 7 a.m., 22 seconds early. Jared is the founder and CEO of something called Zelos Games. I keep hearing people pronounce it Zelos. We can figure all that shit out. Oh, look, there he is. Bam. Yes, here. 7 a.m. Everyone's on time. Cheers. What's up, dude?
How are you, bro?
I'm so good.
I feel like I've been hanging out with you anyways. I'd listened to like 2 episodes yesterday, so I'm like now I'm just in the conversation.
I'm glad to hear you say that because that's the way it is with me with all my guests. Because the night before, like yesterday, so I was on the assault bike for 20 minutes just watching a bunch of videos of yours, and then I sit on the floor and stretch for another hour sometimes, and then I come inside and while I eat dinner, I troll the shit out of your Instagram. And I do that with every guest. Jared, are you at Jared Graybeal? I'm just
Jared,
fixing.
AXL Graybeal, which is my real middle name for people that are curious. But
okay, spell it all out for me. I'm going to write it in here.
Yeah, Jared.
Yep.
AXL.
AXL.
GRAY.
Uh-huh.
BEAL.
Bam. Does that look right?
That's it, man. My parents were big Guns N' Roses fans, so.
Oh, really? That's how it. Oh,
That's
wow.
Rose, baby.
The Mark Bell, who I had on yesterday, was just telling me he was in Napa and he saw Guns N' Roses mixed with Miley Cyrus. Crazy.
That's awesome. That sounds really cool. It's a funny duo, but sounds awesome.
Yeah, man, I hope Guns N' Roses are so much smarter than Miley Cyrus. The few times I've heard her interview, she does not sound like a good person.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unfortunately.
The only recollection I have of her is on a wrecking ball.
What was that, a video she was in?
Yeah, like the music video, came in like a.
I don't remember.
Ball. You got to go watch it later on, maybe.
What year was that?
That was like, I don't know, recent for her, I think, 2-3 years ago. It was like her comeback song,
Miley Cyrus Wrecking Ball. What if I just type that in? Will I see it? Oh yeah. I see it.
100%. There was a bunch of like, obviously memes were made of it, but there was, what is it called when somebody else remakes it? Like,
oh yeah, maybe parody.
Parodies, yeah, there we are. Bunch of parodies. It was good. It was good content. It was good internet stuff.
Let me see if I can put this on the screen because this is totally the Santa Cruz young girl Santa Cruz outfit right here. Miley Cyrus Wrecking Ball. Bam. Can you see that?
Yes, yeah, that's for sure. Like you're either in Santa Cruz or maybe Boulder.
It's the braless is like, so like there's just this braless look.
Yeah,
it's pretty. It's kind of cool. I mean, I think it's kind of cool. I always just wonder. I have 2 little boys or 3 little boys, and I always like, and they even know it's cool. They're like 4 and 6, and anytime they see like a woman, like you can kind of like your imagination can see her boob through her shirt. I can see they're looking. I could be projecting, but I think that they're looking.
I think it's human nature to take advantage of your peripheral vision, but a little uncomfortable, I think.
Yeah, I mean, what's even more uncomfortable than that is like when I catch myself, like I had this guest on the other day. His name was Bill Dawes. He's a comedian, and while he's doing a stand-up routine at the Laugh Factory in Las Vegas, and I'm watching. It's 45 minutes long, and his pants are so tight, and I keep catching my eyes wandering down to see if I can see the outline of his dick. I'm like, what am I doing? Stop! Like, leave him alone. Leave the guy alone.
Focus on the eyes.
Yeah, like what's up with you, dude? But it's anytime clothes are tight, they're just starting to.
By the way, is the image still up for you?
It is. I'll take it down. This is totally good. You're a good Christian man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Jared Graybeal.
See, yeah.
Jared Graybeal. And how old are you?
31.
and you've organized an event that's online that makes it so people can win money every single week.
Yeah.
Based on their, I think it's fair to say this, based on their CrossFit performance.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an elite. It's open to everybody, but on the top 10, you're for sure going to see elite level athletes winning cash prizes.
I wonder if you did like I can't wait to hear the details because I can never understand these things. Someone tried to explain Bitcoin to me yesterday.
Yeah, good luck.
Holy shit.
People that explain Bitcoin still don't understand Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's basically what he told me. But like I have trouble understanding some of these CrossFit events too. What before I go there, I'm already going to start giving advice. What if you did like just like an 80 and over, but you only win like $10?
Yeah, so we've thought like, okay,
sponsored by this Sevan Podcast. I'll put up like $10 a week.
Okay.
For people who are like 80 and over.
I'll hold you to that for the next series.
My mom entered a half marathon once and she took first place. And I was like, holy shit, you're amazing. And she goes, oh, I was the only one in my age category.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
I have to be the only one.
Yeah, who cares? I still give you points for that.
Yeah, I was on like first place for 27 to 28. I don't know.
Yes.
So I'll kind of back up and give you a little bit more context because I'm a very like strategic person. I thought through a lot of different ways we could present the Zelos Games to the community. And one of the things was like, there's the business plan so I'll back up even more. I sold my company, which was a meal prep company called Superfit Foods. I sold it in March of this year. I did a 100% exit and went on a road trip around the country. It was supposed to be for about 6 months. Not so much a soul searching thing for me because I have been soul searching since I was like 12, but mainly like let me enjoy the freedom that I have, like no kids, no wife, no business, and that's very rare for a 30, 31-year-old to experience. So
did you just drove?
Yeah, I drove. I packed up my truck. I put a topper on the bed of my Silverado and got a bunch of milk crates from a local coffee shop. And like basically those are my drawers in the bed of my truck.
Cool.
But eventually now I just walk into an Airbnb with like 2 bags. I've like got it down. I don't even touch everything in the bed of my truck.
Okay.
Brought my dog with me.
Okay. What kind of dog?
She's part lab, part pit, and part Basenji.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I have a Basenji Chihuahua. God, they're weirdos. They are so weird. Basenjis are such weirdos.
He's so weird. Like right now. Look at
Does she do the? Oh yeah. I see it, and I see those eyes. Those are the eyes, the Basenji eyes.
Like always in trouble eyes.
I'm not friends with other dogs. Only humans. Other dogs are below.
Yeah,
me.
dude. I'm glad somebody else can empathize with that.
You are below me. Stay away, you dog.
So yeah, we packed up and we hit the road, and like the purpose of the trip. Because everything I do is kind of with purpose, was to figure out what I want to do next with my life, career-wise, and to decide if I want to live somewhere differently than Jacksonville Beach, which is where I've been for like the past almost 10 years.
Is that Florida?
Yeah, Northeast Florida.
Okay.
And so, kind of 2 big questions to ask yourself, like, where do I want to live and what do I want to do? So I just dropped into gyms throughout the country, connected with friends, but also made new friends, worked out a ton, injured myself. And so didn't get to work out as much as I wanted to.
What did you injure?
So I had been nursing like a bad shoulder for years. But I finally put the nail in the coffin and tore my labrum, my bicep tendon, and my infraspinatus in my right shoulder.
So I had John Berzink on last week. He tore his labrum throwing a softball. I had Paul Lynn on last week. Tore his labrum playing softball, and now you tore your labrum. And it's funny, before John told me that he tore his labrum, I thought only women had labrums, but now I know men have them too. So here we go.
Yeah. So there's a labrum in your
third confirmation.
Labrum in your shoulder. You have a hip labrum and a shoulder labrum.
Okay.
But yeah, I did mine, which I would say that my labrum has been torn, but I just like tore it bad enough to where it really, really, I had to quit. I did week 3 of the Open at Training Think Tank. So probably like I would say I'm an RXer. Not the best environment for an RXer with a bad shoulder to do the Open with like.
Where was Travis there?
He was the one who judged me. Yeah. So, by the time the 30 muscle ups came around, I was doing left arm muscle ups the whole time. So
damn.
I know. And you're like, man,
You got judged by Travis Mayer.
Such a loser.
Mayer. You're stoked.
Yeah.
I didn't see a picture of the two of you in your Instagram.
You didn't or did?
I did not.
No, I didn't really fanboy it.
Huge mistake.
So Frazier came and I grabbed
I saw that.
I would like a picture with Travis, but like
me too.
We became, I would say, I don't want to claim friendship, but we were strong acquaintances, Do
you have his phone number in your phone? Like, could you text him?
No.
Oh, no, you're not friends.
We have DM'd periodically, so we're acquaintances.
Hey, dude, when you have as few followers as Travis Mayer, he DMs everyone. Dude that hasn't even cracked 100K yet.
He should though, but he's a sleeper.
So he should be a superstar.
Yeah.
Yes. But, in my eyes, he is a superstar. Won the quarterfinals last year.
Dude, I agree, and I think he gets credit for this, but he doesn't get enough credit for having 4 kids. I would say a healthy marriage. Obviously, I don't know a whole lot, but like it looks like a healthy marriage.
At least she's hot.
She's attractive, and then he runs a gym, and so like, man, some of these games athletes, which rightfully so, like that's all they do full time. And do
you think that's his real wife or it's just a prop? It's too good. I just said, and she's hot, and then she takes care of the kids. I'm like, wait a second, maybe this is just like some marketing scam.
Some people get lucky, man.
Maybe he lives in a cardboard box, and everything else is just like, who's his manager? Maybe his manager. That's all just props.
Dijon,
is that everybody?
Yeah. Well,
was that part of the plan for the 6-month tour to go to places like Training Think Tank, meet Matt Fraser? I also noticed Rich Froning's part of your he makes a lot of appearances in the Zelos Games.
Yeah.
Instagram.
No, I think if I would have intentionally set out to do that, I would have failed. Okay. I'm confident, but I'm not egotistical. So if you would have asked me like, Jared, are you going on this trip to meet a bunch of professional games athletes and their coaches and their agents? I wouldn't have agreed with you because that's like really egotistical to assume that I can put myself in these places. But
and your manager Cooper's egotistical enough for you and him, so that's perfect.
I don't know Cooper.
No. I just like picking on Cooper.
I like Cooper in general. I didn't really get that kind of vibe.
I like Cooper too, but he's just an easy target for me.
So yeah, no, I started the trip in Miami, and which was really cool because I wanted to start at like the bottom of the country and then make my way to like California and then finish at the games and then come back to Florida. And so first day I went to Peak 360 and I was training. I met Guido. We kind of right away got into a faith conversation. So we kind of shared that bond.
Love that guy. Great guy.
Guido is great. Yeah. And then I was just sitting there warming up and Noah was like, hey, I'm Noah. Do you want to work out? And I'm like, I know who you are. And yes, I do want to work out. So him and I, we worked out for a couple of days. He left and went to Atlanta. And before he left, he was like,
by the way, another great guy. What a great Noah story. Just think about that, people, for a second. This fucking dude, Jared Graybeal, shows up at Peak 360, meets the legend Guido Trinidad, and then Noah asks him, do you want to work out?
Yeah, Noah's really
so crazy. We are in the coolest community.
Yeah,
we are in the coolest community.
I was just talking about that. Like, you can't just like walk into a gym and be like, hey, Tom Brady, can I work out with you? So obviously the sport won't always be like that, but it's cool that it is right now.
But Noah will always be like that, man. That dude's cool as shit.
Yeah, for sure. And I think
he's too nice.
He is. He's very nice. I don't know if there's too nice, but he's very nice.
There is. I was raised. My mom and dad were too nice. There is too nice.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I think, and I've just from following certain media outlets and overhearing conversations, it's like some people don't believe that he's that nice. Like if that is genuine. But if you spend time with him, like it's genuine. It's like overwhelming almost. But yeah, so he comes in, he's like, do you want to work out? I'm like, for sure. And so we worked out for a couple of days and he was like, I'm going to Atlanta. If you go through Atlanta, you should stop by Training Think Tank. And so I was like, okay. So I did. And so that's kind of how that worked out. And then the next day in Atlanta, he was like, hey, Frazier's coming. you want to hang out and train with him? I'm like, yeah. Or I was like, yeah, for sure.
Right.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and lucky for me, because I was like, wait, what does Fraser want to do? Because I had just trained. Like, I'm not like these guys. I can't just hang out for 6 hours and work out. Like physiologically, I'm just not adapted to that lifestyle. And so I was like, well, what does Fraser want to do? And he was like, I heard he wants to do like some bodybuilding stuff. And I was like, yes, like no assault bike. That's good for sure. Like, I don't want to puke when I meet Fraser. So like, let's do we did bench press and pull-ups, which is like,
oh, perfect
for me. Yeah. Got to hang. Like, you didn't notice that I was some friggin' loser outlier that wasn't fit, you know? I could bench and pull up all the same. It was a good day.
You must have some great squatting and lunging too, because your thighs are crazy.
I do have a really good, I have strong lower extremities for sure. I have a bad back, so it's limiting. But
do you do a lot of lunges?
I do a lot of lunges. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife does them, and then I was like, you know what? I just like avoid them like the plague. So I just started doing them again a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean,
they break me off.
If you do enough lunges, your butt will be more sore than you expected.
Yeah, for days. Because
you're using them unilaterally, right? Like, they're independent of each other. So
what's independent of each other?
Like so a squat, you're working collectively. It's a compound movement. When you're lunging, you're putting a large, like, obviously you're stretching one leg and you're still activating it. You're largely dependent on that front leg to do a squat motion. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like 70-30. 70 that walking front leg, 30 the back leg. So it's an easier version of a pistol, right? Because like a pistol's completely independent of each other. But it's a more functional and, I would say, relevant movement.
And a pistol seems to work my quad.
Yeah.
When I do pistols, when I do lunges, it's like the only time I feel like I can get my ass.
Yeah. And the depth and everything that comes into play. And so, like, I usually, because I think with my muscles when I'm doing movements like that. So at the bottom, your butt is what kind of pushes you back up. So in a pistol, you probably usually depend on your most dominant muscle, which is for you probably going to be your quad.
Yeah. I got a little tiny ass like this. Little tiny.
So yeah. So back, I'll reel us back in here. Back on
off my ass and onto your trip.
To the road trip. Yeah. So like 4 or 5 months into it, like when I sold my company, I was very confident that I was not going to start another company. I mean, I don't know at what level, obviously you run the Sevan podcast, but I don't know what level of entrepreneurship or business ownership you've ever experienced, but to build a nationwide meal prep company that ships out and has employees that work on the line and they cook for a living, you got marketing people, and is complicated like any other business. But I would argue that running a meal prep company or a food distribution company in general is one of the most complicated.
Sounds crazy. And the Sevan podcast is nothing but getting up early in the morning.
So to be able to sell that was a dream come true. It wasn't something that I planned on. Like,
who bought it?
A company called Muscle Maker Grill out of Texas. They're a publicly traded healthy food company.
Okay.
So it was a dream come true, and it was like freedom for me because I had spent 6 years building this company, getting it to profitability, getting it debt free, which is just all crazy stuff. There's so many.
All your employees hate you, right?
I hope not.
No, they do. They do. I worked at CrossFit Inc. when it was sold, and it went from everyone loving Greg to everyone hating Greg overnight. Because you know how they feel. Everyone feels that like their daddy abandoned them. I mean, there's of course the shit employees who are super excited because they think the grass is going to be greener on the other side, but they're all fucking have a rude awakening. Yeah. Like the couple employees that already hated you are like, yeah, I'm glad Jaren's selling this shit. He's running shit into the ground. Too much focus on health and not enough on putting in some applesauce so that we can make money. And then they got the new owners and they're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Jared had integrity. These pieces of shit just want to make money, so everyone hates you, even the ones who are like, yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'm just telling you.
Just full disclaimer for anybody watching: those are Sevan's opinions only.
Yes, just my opinions. Yes. And they could totally be wrong. I was wrong once when I was like 12.
I feel that. So, so no, you could be right. They could dislike me. I stayed connected with a few of them over time, but that faded as well, of course. But so anyways, after
I'm not saying what you did was wrong, by the way.
Oh, that's okay.
Or I'm not saying what Greg did was wrong either. I'm just telling you, like I was one of your employees.
Yeah, you got to be there. Yeah.
Fuck, man.
So I told myself I wouldn't start another company. You know, like is the long story short. And
yeah, Greg just told me that the other day. I was talking to him too. He's like, "There's no fucking way I'm starting another company."
Yeah,
but I think you will, and I think he will. But go on.
Well, I did. That's why we're talking, right? So I didn't set out to start the Zelos Games. I was actually, ironically, trying to get a job at CrossFit HQ. I kind of did an inventory of like, you know, what am I good at? What am I?
What year?
This year.
Okay.
Ended up, you know, I got to connect with Justin, not the
James Justin Berg.
He's like the regional manager, a regional affiliate manager. Connected with Gary.
Oh, Gary Gaines.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever met him.
But there wasn't anything on the table for me, and they were kind of transparent about, hey, there's like thousands of people trying to get this job that have already worked with CrossFit. So keep trying, you know. And I was like, all right. Cool.
Yeah, but you were, and the other problem is now is I don't think CrossFit hires people who do CrossFit. Like when I worked there, everyone did CrossFit. I think now if you do CrossFit, it's seen as a bad thing. Like, sorry, I just can't help but be a dick, but I think it's the truth. I think more than I would guess that half their employees now don't do CrossFit. When I worked there, it was every single person did CrossFit. Yeah, it was like we had found, like people had found God through CrossFit, right? I mean, it changed their life, saved their life. And now, like I looked at pictures of the president. I mean, anyway, we'll circle back around if we have time at the end, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, no,
but go on.
Just so you know, coming on this podcast, I expected you to be yourself, so you don't need to apologize.
I just don't want to hijack the show and like it turn into my my bitching session, because I'm really curious how people can make money working out. Like, because I really fucking love that idea. That's like the whole thing. When Matt Souza, the producer of the show, is like, hey, this dude has this thing where people can make money. And then I asked a few people about it and they hadn't heard about it. I'm like, how the fuck like really fit people? And I'm like, dude, like, why wouldn't you just do this one workout every week so you can make money? But we'll get to that.
Yeah, and I can empathize there. Okay. So back to the story. I didn't really want to start a company. I was trying to get a job with CrossFit HQ because that just seemed, you know, in this world, for me, I'm a business person. I'm also like, I'm a fitness entrepreneur, right?
Right.
This isn't the tech world where I can go get a job at 17 different tech companies. Like, as a business professional with my level of acumen, it's like there's really one place where I can express those abilities, and that's like maybe a great job at HQ. And that's the way that I
and you'd get a ton of experience and insight, right?
Right. So that was like the only outlet in the beginning, but that didn't work out, and I continued to go on my journey. And at some point, from hanging out with enough athletes and having conversations, and then reading more morning chalk up every day, it's like there's a serious problem with earning potential for these professional athletes. Or maybe not problem, but there's a serious opportunity for someone out there to create more earning potential for these athletes. And if there's a way that someone could do it that would be a viable business opportunity for them so they don't go broke doing it, then that's something I would be interested in pursuing. I didn't know what it looked like, but I was walking through the casino in Vegas, and just the idea hit me, like, what if I started an online competition where people can pay a little bit of money and possibly win a lot of money, and they can bet on their own skills. So like these games athletes can compete from Russia, from China, from Cookville, you know what I mean? They don't have to travel. They don't have to take COVID tests. They don't have to fail a COVID test. And so they can just throw down once a week or twice a week and win $1,000 if they want. And so obviously that's very high level. I had to like break it down, and I did. And I built a business plan for like 2022, because that's typically how I articulate my ideas. Is I try to build a business plan, and if it looks like crap, then I won't work with it. But if it looks pretty good, like this could be a business, I'll continue to what Netflix calls mine for dissent. So talk to people and see if they don't like it and why. So I built a business plan for 2022, and there was supposed to be like a season.
Netflix does that? Do they do that for their movies, or what purpose do they do that for?
Yeah, so when somebody gets an idea at Netflix, they're required to mine for dissent, meaning like go to all their superiors
Oh, okay.
and like say like, why won't this work? Like,
But not necessarily about movies, but like, hey, I want to move the play button from here to here
yeah, and
on the
movie
platform.
ideas too. Like
Okay.
everybody, you know,
Okay.
all the creatives as
Because they
well.
don't mind for dissent for quality of movies because they got some shit on there.
They do, but there's a segment of the world that probably really thought that was a good idea, you know.
I guess. I mean, Will Smith should never be in a bad movie. I saw some horrible like zombie shit he was in. I was like, what the fuck is this nonsense?
Yeah, that's fair. That wasn't great.
And then I saw another one recently that was like everyone was talking about how good it was. It was like an alien one where then the guy had to go to Antarctica or something and like or Russia and like bomb the aliens. It was I watched 2 hours of it and there was like 10 minutes left. And I just turned it off. I'm like, I don't even give a fuck.
Like,
I don't care.
Get my last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I just heard my wife get into bed. There's nothing in this show that's like worth me not just sliding in right behind her. This is fucking horrible.
So yeah,
and I never went back and watched it. I don't know how. If you watch Netflix every day, you're wasting your fucking life, dude. Not you.
No, it's
well,
fine.
You too. Yeah, you too.
I'll take it. I'll try to limit my.
Fuck. When I hear people are addicted to porn, or they watch too much Netflix, or I hear all this stuff, I can't even relate. Porn is for like when you go to a hotel room. Like when do you have time in your day to watch porn? Like buy a fucking assault bike. Start a podcast.
Yeah.
Build a house with popsicle sticks. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I would say people.
And I like porn. I'm not against it. I don't have like some moral or some shit. I just think like it just seems like a you're throwing something on the floor. Yeah, your seed. Save that shit and like I don't know. It just seems like just have a fucking little bit of discipline, right?
Yeah.
Do you have crazy discipline?
I think probably compared to the average person, I would say I have crazy discipline.
Like if you got hungry at like 9 o'clock at night, you're like, nah, shut it, Jared.
No, not like that. Cause I will justify like, oh, this is energy for tomorrow.
I won't. Nobody use that. This guy has an insane body. You can't use that. Do what I said and just deny it.
You know, I was a bodybuilder for a period of time. So yeah, in that instance, I would be like, all right, I've already hit my protein and carbohydrates for the day or something like that. But now I have more flexibility as a CrossFitter. So if I want to have a snack, but chances are it's not going to be a super unhealthy snack or something like that. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I ate pizza last night. I'm a normal person. But if I ate pizza last night, then tonight I'm not going to eat pizza. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So,
business. You make a business plan. You're like, damn, this shit looks good.
Yeah, it looked okay.
Do you make it in a vacuum? It's just you and sitting at a coffee shop with a notebook, or?
Yeah, notebook, Google Drive, Microsoft Word. So wrote this out. I shared it with a couple of friends that don't really have a lot of experience in the CrossFit world, but they're business people. So, you know, they had some questions and I was able to work through those questions. Then I shared it. Like I actually called Noah. Noah was one of the first people I told about it. Because I wanted to get an athlete perspective, like, hey, is this something that you would do? Like, if it became a thing, like, would you be like, oh, no, forget that? Or would you be like, hey, this is interesting? And he liked the idea. Ironically, he didn't do it, but like, he liked the idea.
He let you use a picture to promote it. I saw you had a picture of him in the IG. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, I actually got
in trouble
a little bit, like a formal cease and desist on that one,
but Noah is a nice guy.
Noah's a nice guy, and his agent's a professional, so I appreciate and I respect that. Right. Because we didn't. Now, well, full disclaimer,
they have to do that because they have to. They can't later on have someone use Noah's picture for like Coca-Cola, and then they point to Zelos Games and be like, "Well, Jared did it," and that set precedent that Noah's okay with it. I get it.
Yeah, no, I get it, and like I'm in business law right now, so like.
I'm sorry.
So I get it. Yeah, it sucks, but I get it. And full disclaimer, though, that was a picture from a games photographer that had a release on that picture. And we weren't advertising a product or service. That was an announcement. So legally, we're still fine. But I took
respect.
Took respect to that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Every other athlete that you see on the Zelos Games page, though, we're good. So. yeah. Anyways, so I called Noah and he's like, I think that's a great idea. You should talk to Guido about it. And so eventually I did talk to Guido about it. He was like, that's great. What about this? What about that? And I shared it. Like I ended up, it's kind of cool how it all came about. Jason from X Endurance and me have been friends on Instagram for a long time. I don't really know how that happened, but we see each other's stuff. So however the algorithm works, we're like followers of each other. And right when I was putting together like a sponsorship deck, I was like, let me hit up Jason and see if, X Endurance would be interested in sponsoring this thing. So I called or DM'd him and he was like, yeah, man, let's jump on a call. Called him. He was like, I really like this idea. X Endurance will sponsor it, but you should get on the phone with Cooper and Justin Kotler. And I was like, sweet. I met
Justin Kotler. I keep hearing that name. That's Danielle Brandon, Carrie Pierce, and Bethany's coach. Yeah. Oh, why him?
Well, I'll give a little bit more context for that too. So like I met him in Vegas. I trained.
Is he rich as fuck? Is Justin rich? Super rich?
I don't think he's super rich.
Oh, okay. You know Bill Henniger.
I don't know who Bill Henniger is.
He owns Rogue. Bill and Katie.
No, Bill and Katie.
Okay.
I think Justin's financially stable.
Okay. I was just like guessing, like talk to Justin. He'll give you $1 million to start this shit up or something.
No, I think more like Justin helped me program the third workout, but they liked the idea. And I guess they had conversations in the past around trying to create more potential earning for athletes. And so when I reached out to Jason, he was like, you're the first person to actually try to build something online for this. So you should talk to Justin and Cooper. And I was like, oh, sweet. I met Justin and I actually told him about this idea at the games and he liked it. So let's revisit it. So we all got on the phone together and they were like, hey, we'll support you any way that we can, without over promising and stuff like that. And so that allowed me to get connected with the Underdogs athletes and they did the first throwdown and they did some promotional stuff. And
Underdog is Justin Kotler's training company. Yes. Like Think Tank is Max Haig's.
Yes.
Hodges.
I'm not sure.
Shit. I used to know. Like a few months ago.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So yeah,
do you kind of hate that? Like you're starting a business and you want feedback from people, but you really don't want it. Hey, Jared, how are you? Look, I got a haircut. What do you think about it? Actually, I don't give a fuck. Shut the fuck up. Is there any of that? I mean, like, you're like, oh God, why did I ask this guy's opinion?
No, because I have, I only ask people's opinions that I actually want them.
Okay. So, fair.
So I was very open to their feedback because I'm coming from like a place of relative obscurity. Like I was a meal prep entrepreneur for 6 years. And prior to that, like I ran gyms and I did personal training and coaching, but it had been some time. So like, nobody knows who I am in this world. Right. And so, I appreciate and respect all the feedback from Cooper and from Jason and from Justin and from Jake Lockhart at Mayhem and from Noah and Guido. And like, I wrote it down and considered it. And I made a lot of changes to the plan based off the feedback that I got. So that's kind of how the early stages went down. But once I identified, okay, before I do 2022 and like risk everything that I've accomplished financially, let me do a test. And that's what October was, like a beta test. It was a 3-part online competition series where the athletes could earn cash prizes for top 10. And overall, there's a top 10 cash prize as well. It's about 70 grand in cash prizes. And then there's 30 raffle prizes that are worth up to 10 grand.
So you already lost me. Sorry, go back.
Where did we go?
So October of 20. So a year ago. This October.
Yeah.
Just started.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, what is the competition now?
So the Zelos Games is a 3-part online competition series with cash prizes associated with each individual week and then the overall.
Okay. So what was week 1?
October 4th to 10th.
But I mean, what was the workout?
The first workout was programmed with the help of Mayhem athletes, so Rich and Jake. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 deadlifts with 225, 155. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 wall walks. So this was like our sprint workout.
And then so me and you and anyone around the world who paid $19.99 would do the workout. Mm-hmm. And the winner would get a cash prize.
Right. The top 10 winners would get cash prizes.
Oh, the top 10.
Yeah. It's anywhere from $2 grand to $50.
and then there would be the second week and the third week, and those are individual prizes. And then whoever had the best score over all three wins another prize. Could you not win? Being that theoretically, could you be 11th place all 3 weeks and still win the grand prize? Okay.
Yeah, because that's how CrossFit scoring works, which I love.
Okay.
If people are jumping all over the board, but you're 11, 11, 11, chances are you're going to be 7 in the overall or something like that.
And does the overall pay down 10 places also?
Yeah, the overall is $4,000 for number 1, and then I think 200 for 10, something like that.
That's really cool.
Thanks.
Is the goal that would be just like at 52 weeks a year? That shit's just going?
No.
Oh.
In the very beginning, my thought was like a lot of weeks. And then as I continued to build out like the thought process and even look at major competitions throughout the year, like I'm not trying to overlap with major competitions. That would defeat the purpose. I'm trying to create opportunity where there isn't any. So like where Rogue is happening, where Wadapalooza is happening, where even the games are happening, I don't really want to create overlap there because that's the opportunity and it already exists. I'm trying to create a supplemental product in the CrossFit space that provides athletes with an opportunity to earn, but also provides fans with entertainment seasonally. Because I think that's another big issue is that there's just not enough entertainment for us to call this a sport, but we can only watch it once a year.
And what's the entertainment? People have to record it and post it, and then you guys post it on like your website. What's the website? Zelos Games?
The ZelosGames.com is a domain that's going to reroute you to Competition Corner. So,
but
what's
Zelos mean? Sorry, I know we're all over. What's Zelos mean? How did you come up with that?
It's the Greek god of rivalry, but I didn't just start there.
Okay.
I'm a pragmatist. So like, I was like, all right, I need a name. And what do I want in a name? I want 2 syllables because I think 3 is too long and 1 is too simple. Like you look at big names like Apple, Zillow, things like that, 2 syllables. I want it to be a high Scrabble scoring word, or words with friends for any millennials. But Z and X, like I wanted to associate it with those if I could. I wanted it to be a games, you know what I mean? Not a qualifier or competition or invitational. And I started looking up words with meaning. And I looked up like, translation for competition, translation for winning, translation for rivalry, and then came across Zelos, which is the Greek god of rivalry. It's actually like the brother of Nike. So I was like, I like that. I think if I choose that, some people will be curious, but some people will really like it. And that's kind of how names work. And so ran with it. And the meaning is very relevant. So
okay, awesome. Okay, sorry. So go on. I was looking around. I ended up on the Box Rocks article, and then from there it gave me a link to the Zelos Games.
Yeah, and so the entertainment piece is mainly on YouTube, or it's all on YouTube really. So what we did is we kicked off with like a live throwdown in Vegas, and the Underdogs athletics team did like 3 waves to where you could tune in live and watch them throw down. Obviously, it's nothing like the games. It's nothing like watching your NFL team on a Sunday. But somebody's got to start somewhere, you know?
Yeah. No, I think so. I think it's pretty damn good if you had Bethany, Carrie, and Danielle doing it.
And then Allison Scuds and Alice Gazan. And then a few other people, Raph, who's Allison Scuds' boyfriend, Matt DeLugos.
That dude's got some crazy quads too. Have you ever met that dude?
Matt DeLugos?
No, Scuds' boyfriend.
Yeah. I was there. So.
Oh, okay. You guys have the same legs. Did you notice his legs?
I didn't spend a whole lot of time looking at his legs, but
yeah,
he looks
nuts.
Fit.
Nuts. Those things fill up with blood and they just stop. I saw him doing some games testing for Dave one year. It was nuts.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go on. Okay. So you had all these people.
Yeah. So that was kind of the kickoff of the entertainment piece. Then that Friday we had Bailey Rail.
Congratulations, by the way. That's killer. That's a killer crew. Danielle Brandon and Bethany and Carrie Pierce. Those are hot properties. They're fucking superstars in the community. They're so awesome.
It was really cool.
Yeah. Everyone knows them.
So had Bailey Rail do Friday. solo. Then the next Monday had Dallin Pepper and a girl named Kyra Milligan, who's like a regionals athlete. They did it head to head in Utah. Then the next Friday, we did Tyler Christoffel went live on YouTube by himself. Mayhem athlete, almost made the games. He was like 6th in the last chance qualifier. And then this week, Christian Harris and the Move Fast Lift Heavy crew did last night.
I keep hearing that name, Christian Harris, and I hate to do this. Is that the guy who popped?
No, but somebody on his team did.
Okay. I keep hearing his name, and every time I always end up on his Instagram account, and I don't know why. Like, but he just must be super well connected. He must know a fucking shit ton of people.
He is really well connected. He's great.
Yeah, I always end up there. Is he a cool dude? I never met him.
I mean, we've met in passing, and he seemed cool, and we've talked on the phone a few times just about putting this together.
Gotcha. Okay.
He's a really cool dude.
Yeah.
From what I've gathered so far.
He's no Noah.
Well, I haven't gotten to spend.
I'm joking. I'm just busting on the dude. I'm just busting on.
You can like feel Noah's niceness.
Yes. I'm sure Christian Harris is a great dude. I just, it's crazy how often his name, like once a week, somehow someone points to him or says you should see this or yeah. Okay.
Also, you got to remember, like Christian's from New York, Noah's from South Florida, like the niceties and like the cultural, you know what I mean?
Christian Harris is rain and thunder. Noah is rainbows and sun.
But yeah, so that is the Zelos Games, and that's how it all kind of came together.
Was it a success? Are you going to keep going?
It depends on how you measure success. So,
meaning that you want to do it again.
I do want to do it again. I think that we've built like a really strong brand. I think that like the media coverage has been fantastic for the Zelos Games. I mean, if you look at the top 10, a couple of things that I wanted to accomplish, I did. One, it's a smorgasbord of nations. Like if you look at the flags on there, it's like people from all over the world are top 10. And that's what I wanted to accomplish, is creating an equal level opportunity for people to win money. For elite athletes, not all people, obviously. But, and then there's games athletes on the top 10, like more than 5 of them. And then regional, like there's well-known athletes on the top 10. It's not like nobody signed up, so the top 10 is a bunch of me and you, like, so I accomplished that. Financially, I didn't hit the goal that I wanted, like to be fully transparent. And I think there's a couple reasons for that. 2 of the major reasons, and this isn't a hit on them by any means, but Wodapalooza announced their last chance qualifier, like kind of last minute compared to how we announced ours. And like, that's probably what they had planned, and there's nothing wrong with how they did that. But their last chance qualifiers started the day that the first Zelos Games started.
Okay.
So that cannibalized a significant amount of the elite level athletes that we may have attracted.
Right.
Because they're all gunning for Wodapalooza, and rightfully so, because like, who is the Zelos Games compared to Wodapalooza? So there's that
dude over there who owns that shit, Matt O'Keefe. He's cool as shit. You should talk to him and coordinate. He probably give you a heads up. He wants to grow the ecosystem. Have you met him?
I haven't met him. I DM'd him. It hasn't been opened. So,
okay.
But we haven't.
It has. Oh, okay. He's cool as shit. Once, you should talk to him. He's like a huge supporter of the entire ecosystem. Everyone likes him.
Cool. Like, you know, from following and so if anybody watching this knows him and wants to connect me, I'm all for it. So that's one thing that I just didn't anticipate, because I did plan this October series on purpose. Like, it was like, there's no competitions going on mid-October. There's Rogue at the end of October, which was like 9 days after our last one ends. And then there's like November had like Filthy 150, Dubai, Ras Al Khaimah, stuff like that. So I was like, I don't want to mess with November. I don't want to mess with December. I got to test this in October, and I have to get this done. So, but then Wodapalooza announced qualifiers, and that cannibalized a lot of our elite level athletes. I imagine. I'm just making an assumption. And then, I don't know if you've seen this, but CrossFit HQ launched Lift Move Work.
Oh, yeah. See, that's the thing. I see that shit. Same with Zelos, same with like all these things, like all these qualifiers and the Wodapaloozas. Like, for some reason that I just tune out as soon as I see that. Like, I just need to see like burpees for 7 minutes, or Deadlift 2-4. I just need to see that. As soon as I start hearing all the other shit, there's going to be 3, or it's a pre-qualifier for a qualifier that goes to an online. I just fucking tune out. So like I saw that move lift. Sorry, I'm already checked out. Like do you know what I mean? Like it was just too. But I know that wasn't your point. But I just see these. I need it so simple. I need like a button. $5 here. Do jumping jacks for an hour. I'm all right. Cool.
We're going to try to make it more simple on our end. But
yeah, the CrossFit thing, what the fuck is that? What are they doing?
It's, and again, like I'm sure that they have great intentions, but they announced that last minute and that launched October 4th, which is when we launched as well. And so,
and what is CrossFit doing? This is a competition for affiliates, or is this a qualifier for the games? What is this thing they're doing?
From what
someone write in the comments what the fuck is going on over there. And even when I worked there, we did shit like that. Like I would be fucking head of media, and there'd all of a sudden be like, we're doing a lift off with USA weightlifting, and it's tomorrow. I'm like, what? Like, when did we announce that? They're like, a month ago. I'm like,
I don't know what the ambition here is, but basically it's different types of, it's like 3 different types of workouts, like 1 lift, 1 move, and 1 work. I don't know how that's defined, but there's different brackets, and it's $9.99 to compete, and the reward is seeing how you stack up against people in the world. There's no like actual reward. It's not a qualifier. Okay. There's no money. So I think that
it's so all I heard. So I just translated that to it's a 3 event open so that you can see how you compare to other people who entered.
Yeah.
And it costs $10.
Right.
It sounds like they're just trying something. It's a pre-open event. Brandon Waddle says, Allegra, thanks for the loot. $9.99. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're a good dude. Is Allegra a boy or a girl?
I would guess a girl.
Yeah, me too.
In like 10 years, it might be anything, but
thank you. Okay.
So yeah, and again, I like no bad blood there, but they announced it like 3 days in advance, and it launched October 4th. And so what I see happened is like Wodapalooza cannibalized my elites, and then Lift Move Work cannibalized my general population,
right?
Registrations. And so we didn't hit the numbers, and I'm not like, it's not a cop out. We probably could have done things better, and it's a first time, but I expected a lot more registrations, and we didn't hit that number, I think, because there was so much saturation in a short period of time.
What if there was a scaled, did I lose you?
I'm here.
What if there was a scaled Zelos version, and like you just want a t-shirt?
So there
fittest non-juiced up, fittest non-steroidal competitor, something funny like that.
We do have a scaled division, and it kind of like fell flat.
Okay.
And there's a lot to be won. So when you sign up for the Zelos Games, you already get $15 off Fit Aid. You get 15% off True Grit fitness equipment. You get 10% off X Endurance. You get 10% off the toe spacer. So there's like over $100 in value for spending $20 to sign up. So right away, you're going to get a return on your investment. And there's 30 raffle prizes. One, like the first one is a $3,000 home gym, and then the last one's like a $100 gift card from Fit Aid. So the likelihood of winning is high for those opportunities, and that was kind of how we wanted to appeal to the scaled audience. But I think we just didn't hit the mark, and I think the Lift Move Work thing kind of like took that audience, because it's CrossFit. Like I'm like the Zelos Games, and it's like CrossFit,
Yeah.
Their media exposure, their net that they can catch people in is far greater. So we did do a scale thing. In short, it just fell flat. I think in the future, how we will appeal to the community is by building out a stronger entertainment suite, better media, and then how we will appeal to the athletes is continuing to raise the prize money. I don't think that we'll try to get scaled people signed up to win things again in the future. I don't know for sure, but I just think that fell flat. I don't think the general population is really ready to do anything outside of the open.
Maybe you almost need the affiliate owners to be, maybe that's why the open's so successful too, is because it's the affiliate owners are really behind it. And it's such a community event.
It is. And
I never wanted to do the open, and I was always so happy I did. I was always, I couldn't believe how proud of myself I was.
Yeah. It's like, you're at the party, and it's a party trick. Like you gotta join in.
And you don't even care. You don't sign up because you don't want people to see how shitty you are. But then once you're done, you don't even care if you were good or bad. At least I never did. I was just like, holy shit, I did it.
Yeah, you want to put your score up there and like know that it's there.
Or I finished. I lasted all the weeks. I got a double under.
And so I emailed thousands of affiliates trying to like get them involved, and I got like a 30% open rate, but like a 0.001 response rate.
Gotcha.
Again, it's from obscurity, right? Like what the heck is Zelos Games?
Right.
So I would take a very long time to get like an open style event where people like affiliates are doing it, because it's a lot of work to host open in general. That's why we announced the workouts in advance so affiliates can take part, because I know it's a shame when it's announced for day night like an event Friday. We tried to appeal to the affiliates. We tried to appeal to skill athletes. I think we tried to be all things for all people. And I wanted that to test the waters, and then I say, like, okay, what are we moving for? So,
hold on a sec, Jared. Hold on. Can you hear me? You're breaking up so bad.
I can hear you, and I have good service on my end.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, now you're back. You were just breaking up really bad for about 3 or 4 seconds.
Sorry about that. I didn't say anything important.
Dude just turned into an internet. Dude just turned into a robot. That's what someone said.
I've heard worse, so that's okay. By the way, have there been any cool comments? I don't see the comments. I mean, I'm not a very controversial person, so I don't imagine anybody said anything weird, but
nothing. No, that was the only one so far. The only thing, it's just random shit. But someone said it's a pre-open event. I forget what that was in reference to.
The lift move work thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Maybe we should talk about more controversial stuff so people start commenting. So I'm kidding. I don't want to put myself in a corner like that. But
well, I want to ask. So why did you sell the food Super Fit?
I was ready to move on. Like I said, all my.
Are you married? You're not married, or you don't have kids?
Mm-mm.
Okay, sorry. Go on.
Yeah. So I mean, in 2015 when I started Super Fit Foods, it was really like a God thing for me. And I was a personal trainer, gym owner, gym manager. Like that was what I had done the past 8 years prior. But an opportunity presented itself to start a meal prep company, and I didn't think long-term about it at all. So we started this company, and it blew up because I'm a heck of a salesman and I'm a pretty good business person. And so right away, within months, I'm like, oh crap, like this is a real thing and I have to run this thing. And I believed in the mission because I think healthy food can change the world if people eat it. So I wanted to kind of push back against the processed food world and the crappy meal prep companies out there. And we did a really great job of that on a small scale. And as the company continued to grow, I continued to get better. And, over time, we had this pretty big nationwide meal prep company. And so I didn't think too much about exiting for a while. I mean, year 3 and 4 was complicated. I had to buy out my partner. That put me back financially. And then year 4, I got ahead of it. And as I was turning 30, so December of 2019, I'm thinking through, what do I want to do in my 30s? I'm about to turn 30. That's a pivotal moment. Biblically, it's kind of a pivotal year for just characters in the Bible. So I'm thinking through this year a little bit differently. And I'm like, okay, where do I want to live? What do I want to do? Do I want to run Super Fit? And do I want to run it for the next 5 to 10 years of my life? It had been bootstrapped. I built it from nothing, no investors. Like investors don't normally hang around Northeast Florida. So it was a challenge, man. And, I thought, okay, we're profitable. We're debt free. I've done the work. I think in my 30s, I want to get back into fitness, like not food fitness, but like fitness. You know what I mean? Because the funnest I ever had working was when I was a personal trainer, working for myself, training clients. Granted, our purpose in life is not about having fun. So I think me as a business person, I do a better service for the world by running a business. And so that's why I built and ran Super Fit. But long story short, I decided in my 30s, I didn't want to do it anymore. And we were at a place where we could sell and we could do well. The pandemic hit and we grew a lot in that because we were able to pivot and launch a local delivery service. And we launched like cold pressed juices and all this fun stuff. So we were really attractive to buyers after COVID, because we had this subscription-based healthy food model that ultimately was benefited by it.
When you said it's a God thing, starting Superfit was a God thing. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so I imagine we'd get in this conversation. I'm excited for it. So for me, I'm not particularly special, right? And that's not like a false humility thing, but I know I'm pretty smart. I'm pretty capable. I know I have nice quads, whatever. But like, I have a lot of bad ideas in my world, and I have some exceptional ideas. But then sometimes I have these really good ideas where I'm like, that's not my idea. Like that's a God thing. Like, there's nothing bad about this. I mean, obviously it'd be challenging to start a meal prep company, but it serves a purpose. People are struggling with their diets. This solves that problem. My personal training clients always have an excuse for not eating healthy. This will solve that problem. And so it was kind of like a God thing for me. And then I didn't have experience in food production. So
I still don't get it. Let me ask you this other question, and then we'll come back. Where did you learn to think like this paradigm of thought, or organizing your thoughts like this, or judging your own thoughts like this? Where did you come up with that?
I don't think I learned it in like one place. I didn't go on like a journey and learn it in one moment or anything like that. But I would say there's a fly on my screen. I'm a long story person, so I'm gonna try to make this short. I'm a complex thinker. I have been since like I can remember thoughts. Been questioning existence and creation since I was like 11. Early on, I was an atheist because I just thought that there was too much pain and suffering, at least in my world, for there to be a God. And that was very selfish of me because I was raised in America. Like, even though I was a poor, broke little kid growing up, I'm nothing like the people in Haiti or North Korea, right? So, anyways, I was an atheist early on, but always thinking 17 different thoughts about one decision. I've always been a very complex thinker. So that being said,
You sound like a woman. I tried so hard not to say that. Allegra, you want your money back? Fuck, I get it. Send me your address. I'll send your money back.
That's funny. I don't know what to say to that. I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, take it as a compliment. That kind of bails me out too. That saves me. If anyone says that's so sexist, I'll be like, "What are you talking about? That was a compliment."
No, it's a good thing because most guys are like very simple. So like,
I heard this thing that women replay conversations in their head, and men think about sex and sports, and it's so funny because it really is. I mean, it's not that simple, but my wife will be like, "Hey, do you think I was rude to so and so at the market today?" And I'll be like, should I stay up right now and watch the UFC after report, or should I sneak in bed with my wife? And I'll be like, "What'd you say, honey?" You know,
yeah.
And like literally, that is what's going on. I'm like, got sports and my wife, and she's like, "Was I rude to so and so?" I'm like, "Damn."
Yeah,
someone cracked the code on us. Okay, so you got a lot going on. You're thinking about a lot of things.
Always.
Okay.
And for what it's worth, I'm thinking about the same thing guys are thinking about too. So there's a lot going on up here.
Okay. Oh shit, you got both. Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, like very much so. But so, as a kid, that's how I'm thinking. I was an atheist early on. Then I went to jail, and it's kind of cliche, of course, which is whatever. But in jail,
What did you go to? Did you hurt someone?
That's not why I went to jail.
Oh, that's good.
I
what did
fighting, so yes and no.
What did you go to jail for?
So when I was 11, I started selling weed, and when I was 17, I got caught selling.
11?
Yeah.
Where do you get weed? Where do you get weed when you're 11?
From a guy in the hood named Dre.
Wow. Did he front that, or did you have to come up with your own starter cash?
Yeah, so we can get into this story. I kind of enjoy it. When I was 11, we were dead broke. And so I was in 6th grade. I kind of got
mom and dad are together?
No, they were divorced before I was born.
Okay. Holy shit. Dude, why do people listen to me, people? Don't fucking get married if you're just going to get a divorce. You're just making it worse. Like, they should have never even gotten married. It's okay to have the kid. Don't get married so you can have a fucking divorce. So your mom went through a divorce while you were in her belly.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that to pregnant women. They got shit going on. Fuck. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry. Go on.
it was a
I didn't marry
complicated
my wife until she's pregnant with my second and third child.
until you knew. Well,
I just was like, hey, if I die, I don't want there to be any complications with her getting all my shit. I don't want any but that being said, it ended up being really profound for me.
That's good.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be. We just went to the courthouse, and like I thought getting married, you were just a tool of the man, and I thought even having kids and like just following along that path was just all bullshit. But as I ended up on that path, fuck, it's dope.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's so rewarding. I just kind of just forced on it. I'm forced on it.
It sounds like it's working.
It's so great. It's so great. I went kicking and screaming. It's the best thing.
That's awesome.
Okay, sorry. So you're born, and your parents are already divorced. And do you have siblings?
So I'll back up a second. That's what I would consider a God thing, Sevan, where you got married kicking and screaming, but somehow it's worked out really, really well for you.
Yeah.
That's a God thing to me. But anyways.
Okay, I got it.
What was your question?
So do you have siblings?
I do. I have an older full brother, a younger half brother, an older half sister. Couple of like what I would call step siblings, but not like legitimately step siblings.
Okay. So it's a typical poor family. People having sex, lots of kids around. No, did you live in a motor, were you in West Virginia? What state were you in?
No, I'm from Polk County, so Central Florida.
My mom, I really like, next time you're born again, do it in West Virginia. It's such a nice. And did you live in a
trailer?
Yeah.
Some of the time, my mom lived in a trailer. So yeah, when I was with her.
Okay.
So to paint that picture even more.
Yeah, I need it.
So anyways, I was raised mainly by my dad though. So
shit.
Started skate. Yeah, kind of a different story than most people are used to.
Was your mom an addict?
Well, early on, yeah.
Okay. Is she okay now?
She's great now.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know if I've ever called her that, but she was doing drugs around the time.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, my dad took us in when I was really young, and eventually she got better and joint custody, all that fun stuff. But anyways, at 11, I started smoking weed. I started skateboarding, and I was really, really good at it. And like smoking weed and skateboarding kind of goes hand in hand back then. You're kind of like, a bunch of outlaws. So I'm an entrepreneur. It's just how I think. And I couldn't really afford to keep buying weed for myself. But at one point, from mowing lawns, I bought a $20 bag of weed, and 4 kids at school asked me for a nickel bag. I sold them a nickel bag.
A nickel bag.
Nickel bag. 5.
These cheap motherfuckers. I'd be like, fuck you.
Well, they're 6th graders. So
right, I guess.
So I made
nickel bag. Hey, do 6th graders roll their own joints?
I think.
What did you guys smoke out of?
I mean, apples, cans.
Yeah. Yep.
All sorts of stuff.
God, that shit was so. That's the thing that people don't understand. That's like, that's more than 51% of the fun when you're that age. You know what I mean? Like, drilling out the apple, or someone's got a can, or the fact that like you're 11 and you're using a lighter. Dude, the lighter is such an amazing invention. Imagine how many souls, speaking of God, went into the invention of the cigarette lighter. Someone had to figure out how to make that plastic, that fluid, that wheel, how it's machined perfectly, how it hits the flint, the pressure of the spring. I mean, the lighter's mind-boggling. And right? I mean, do you remember that being in 6th grade? Like, motherfucker, I got a lighter.
This is crazy. Yeah. I think,
you're just like, you can't even believe it. Your own cigarette lighter.
You don't give yourself enough credit though, because that's far more than sex and sports right there, Sevan.
Right.
But yeah, so
that's just the distraction, because I couldn't get sex and I couldn't play sports. I can't believe 11 smoking weed. I didn't smoke weed till I was in my 20s.
Yeah, it just kind of was like part of the culture that I was brought up in, and I progressed, right? So I started selling a little bit of weed, and then I realized that not only can I get free weed, but I can also make some money if I buy a lot. And I started getting quarter pound fronted to me by the local drug dealer. And then I started being able to have cash to buy a half a pound, and then a full pound. And then
where did you keep your cash?
Well, I moved out at 16, and
but I mean, at 11, where did you put it? Did you have a wallet?
I put it under my bed.
Yeah. Okay.
Typical.
So you'd stuff the wads, the cash in your pocket, and then you would, and then these kids would have to, because when I would buy stuff at that age, I would have to steal from my parents. So these kids were stealing money from their parents to buy weed, basically.
Probably, or they're like allowance, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Allowance. I forgot about that. I got some of that too.
I don't know where they got their money from, but so that was an enterprise for me. I mean, early stage arbitrage, and then by 17, I was making.
What's that word mean? Arbitrage.
Like taking one thing for a certain price and selling it for another price, a higher price.
Okay.
Arbitrage. Like think like yard sale, like going to one yard sale and buying something and selling it on Amazon for like twice the amount. You know what I mean?
The simultaneous purchase and sale of an equivalent asset or of the same asset in multiple markets. And I like your definition. Fuck this wiki shit. Okay,
You're
good.
welcome.
Okay, I understand.
So yeah, so like that was my lifestyle. I moved out at 16. I got this little studio apartment in downtown Lakeland. Me and my dad began to butt heads. You know,
did you get kicked out or did you decide to move out?
I would say kicked out.
Yeah, I got kicked out at 16 too. But I got kicked out of my mom's house and ran to my dad's house.
Yeah, I was comfortable financially and ready to live on my own. I've always been really independent. That's how my dad kind of raised us, you know.
Did you have a girlfriend?
No, not at that time.
Did you lose your virginity early?
Not really. I didn't hit puberty until I was 17, so I didn't really have the luxury of losing my virginity.
So you didn't lose your virginity until you were like 17 or 18?
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither.
Here we are. I knew we would get in some weird stuff on this.
I had this amazing girlfriend when I was 15, 16, 17, all like sophomore, junior, senior year. She'd spend that at my house all the fucking time, but we just never boned. She would have let me. I don't know. Maybe that's a God thing too. I mean, we hung out, we kissed, we showered, she was awesome. Loved her to death. But we just never, and then finally, like I think it was like 2 months before my senior year was over. And I was like, I think I was 18. My birthday's in March. And I was like, I think I talked to her. I'm like, hey, we better do this. We're going to die virgins. She's like, yeah, okay. Sex.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then the floodgates open. Was it like that for you? Like you had sex the first time and then it was like, did you ever think, oh, I'm never going to have sex? That's how I thought.
No, not at all.
And then you have it once and it's like, holy shit, it's just raining vagina.
Yeah, there was a lot of opportunities for me, but I didn't hit puberty yet. So I knew I was like, I don't know how this works. Like,
right.
If you're not like a man, you know?
How cool. You're slinging dope at 11, but you still aren't. You're not just sleeping around. It's cool. It shows hope and promise.
Yeah.
Someone wrote in the comments, this is the best comment so far: sex, sports, and fire.
Real caveman stuff.
Okay. Yes.
So yeah, and then 17 I got caught. And I'll just bring us back in. We're talking about
what year is this?
I was 17 in 2007.
Weed was illegal in 2007? Crazy.
And I'm from Florida, so it's not as progressive.
Okay. That's turned into a really bad word.
Progressive, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean it in the good way. But so got arrested, got put on probation, and then I violated probation.
Can I hear the story about the arrest?
Yeah. I had an apartment and I was coming home from what we call a Leo meeting. Leo was like a kind of a fraternity that we had in high school. Mm-hmm. Our high school was like Friday Night Lights. So Lakeland High School breeds a ton of professional athletes. We had 5 state championships in a row, like went to high school with some of the best athletes in the world. They play NFL and stuff like that now. So anyways, we had this fraternity. It was called Leo. And it's coming home from a Leo meeting, which was like a men's club kind of thing. And
where you basically sold weed.
To some of them, but I was like involved in the school, like serving the school and the community and stuff like that. Like Leo, like I was
Dude, were you the only 16-year-old you knew who had your own apartment?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, me too. So when I ran away from my mom, I moved in with my dad, and my dad had this apartment building in the fucking super ghetto. Super ghetto, dude.
Yeah, mine wasn't really
Pimps with feathers in their hair, Dobermans, fucking needles everywhere, hookers everywhere.
Yeah, that's super ghetto.
And he gave me the apartment. It was crazy. I swear it was like a black exploitation film. It was crazy. It was so over the top, cheesy, but I loved it. It was the greatest 3-4 years of my life.
It was like so many. Pull back the veil, and they're a bunch of actors.
I mean, that's what it felt like. I mean, when you see the pimp with the fedora and the feather, and he's got like 3 Rottweilers and a line of hookers, and there was even a dwarf hooker. It was crazy, dude.
That's a little over.
And it was over the top. Chains and all the, it was cool. But it was sad too.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Okay, sorry. So you're coming home from this Leo meeting, sorry, and you're 17.
No, yeah.
Your own apartment. Own apartment and still a virgin, both of us. Talk about squandered opportunity. We're jackasses.
Okay, I know, and there was always girls over too. I was just like, I got nothing for you. So we just smoke weed and watch 300 or something. But and eat like Hungry Howie's pizza. But the cops were at my door, and I'm like, can I help you guys? And they're like, yeah, we're looking for Jared Graybeal. And I'm like, that's me. And they're like, we have a warrant to search your apartment. And they showed me these pictures of like me. It was very like corny in a way. Like me leaning into cars and like me shaking hands with people, like they were staking out the place. And I guess they thought that I was part of a much larger ordeal. They didn't realize that this like 16, 17-year-old white kid like was running the thing that they were figuring, like researching or whatever. So they had a warrant. They searched my apartment. They found everything. They took everything. And since I was 17 at the time, they served me papers like to like go to court. And I was like, wait, you're not going to arrest me now? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh, that's weird, but cool. But then
are you stressing when that happens? Is it just like you just want to vomit?
But I had been in and out of like juvie all throughout 11 to 17, so I wasn't stressing like a normal person probably. But I thought, it'd be another like whatever. But they chose to charge me as an adult like a month later. So I ended up going to jail the summer after my senior year.
Wait, so you had a court case? You had a court case and all that shit, and they found you guilty?
No. So I got put on probation, and I violated that probation.
And how did you violate the probation?
So a couple things. I was hanging out with the wrong crowd. Got involved in, it's kind of a long story, but a buddy of mine stole a watch, sold the watch. I was with him. And so I got like, by association. And if you're on felony probation, basically you can't do anything. You can't even like run a red light. So they gave me a violation of probation, and you automatically, are in jail for at least 30 days. But they gave me a $15,000 bond, and I didn't know anybody that had $15,000.
And what does that mean? The $15,000 bond, meaning like, you could pay that money and then wait to your court case, where you would have said, hey, I didn't steal the watch. I just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right.
I want to point something out to you, and it's just Jared and myself I'm speaking of, and Jared could tell me to fuck off if he wants, and we're still going with the interview. But this is why it's so hard for me when people talk about the cops and the black and white thing. I was pulled over more than 200 times between the age of 15 and the age of 20, 22, 23. I was arrested 4 different times. I was arrested once for speeding. I would get stopped and searched all the fucking time. And I'm as fucking white as fucking can be. And I used to have no beard, and I looked like a little fucking boy. I looked like Fred Savage. I was an adorable little kid. When you are a fucking punk ass fucking boy and you are 15 to fucking 25, if you are not playing sports or you do not have a fucking job, the cops will be pulling you over on the fucking regular, regardless of your fucking color, searching you, taking you in, shoving you around, because you're starting trouble. I can't tell you how many times I just threw a fucking rock at something for no fucking reason because I didn't think.
Yeah.
Fucking someone be like, I'm standing out in front of a fucking 7-Eleven at 15 years old and someone's like, hey, I want a beer. So someone just runs in and grabs one and we all run. No one's thinking. We just have nothing better to do. Has nothing to do with the color of your fucking skin. Cops are stopping all these motherfuckers. Look at this fucking guy. This guy's whiter than fucking me. Cops are all over his shit. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's your show. You get to digress as much as you want. I would, for the sake of the conversation, I would agree and disagree. And so I'll explain.
Please.
The likelihood, yes.
I mean, if you're black, your bail would have been 22,000 and not 15,000.
Bail may not have been different, but you're going to get treated different, most likely. At least back then. And maybe still now, but less likely.
Let me tell you, in my neighborhood, if you were black, you got treated better. If you're white in my neighborhood, if I was walking down the street drinking with the homies, with the black dudes, the second the cops pulled up, I had to hand my 40 over to a black dude because the cops weren't fucking with the black dudes if they were drinking. Yeah, I was fucked.
I grew up in parts of those neighborhoods too, so
they searched my backpack. The black dudes didn't get their backpack searched. I'm just saying, like, it goes both ways. I would get a ticket for jaywalking in the black neighborhood because I was white. The black dudes didn't get ticketed for jaywalking.
Yeah, so I think it obviously there's so much.
I'm not saying it doesn't vary, but it goes both ways.
Yeah, I would just say statistically it happens on the other side way more.
Okay. Fair enough. Just not to me in California, but fair enough. I'm open to prejudice and racism. I
never lived in California or anything like that. I just know, like, with the crimes that I did commit and the crimes that I allegedly committed growing up, like, I probably would be in a much worse place if I was a different race.
Okay.
I didn't get treated very well, and I didn't have wealthy parents. But I would say,
fuck Florida. If you're black, move to California.
I'm not. Anyways, let's move on.
Right. You handled it well. All this shit will come down on me. You handled it well. You towed the party line.
Yeah. So I got sent to jail. Summer after my senior year, my friends are going.
Waste of taxpayers' money sending a boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, and I wish that I could get some of that money back now that Justin Bieber is being put on Forbes for selling weed, and now I'm. Anyway,
does he have a weed business?
Yeah, he's launching like a joint, like a rolled joint business called Peaches. It's genius, but because he had a song called Peaches.
Man.
Anyways,
if you're young, don't smoke weed. I'm telling you right now, it seems like it's fun, but you're gonna get older, and you're gonna think the whole time. Speaking about thinking too much, how would I be different if I wouldn't have smoked all that weed? How would my lungs be different? How would my brain be different? Just don't do it. Go fucking do some burpees.
I totally agree. I think weed is medicinal and it should be treated like every other form of medicine. And that you should wait until you're an adult to administer this level of medicine to yourself. That's my blanket thought on marijuana. Did
you sell anything besides weed?
I dabbled in other things, but I didn't like the clientele with other products. Weed's so harmless,
Yeah.
Cocaine, pills, like that, you're in a different world there.
It gets a little weird when you think they're coming to pay you cash and they're like, I'll suck your dick. And you're like, I'm not really in that business.
Or they try to rob you. Or
yes.
So, bad experiences in those other worlds, especially when your friends try to buy it. You're like, no.
Yes, right.
This isn't for you guys.
Right.
This is for other people. Anyway,
show me some ID.
Yeah, all your pothead friends start doing cocaine. It's like, I got to quit selling the cocaine.
Yeah, that sucks.
So
yeah, there's more guns in the coke sale.
There's more profit,
Yeah. Okay, good point.
More money, more problems. But so I go to jail, and in jail, we're still on the God story, by the way. So in jail, I am miserable. I'm like, okay, my life really wasn't that bad. This is bad. Maybe I should have made different decisions. Maybe I shouldn't have a chip on my shoulder because maybe life isn't as bad as I make it out to be. And so one night I read a letter that my mom wrote me, and I had to read it when nobody was in the room because I knew I was going to cry. Like, who's not going to cry?
She wrote you a letter in jail, and like the guy walks by your cell and is like, Jared, you're like, yeah, and he slides you a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And it's already been opened. Motherfucker already read it.
No, it's not open.
Oh, okay.
So I got this letter, and it's like Game 5 of the NBA Finals, 2008, like Celtics and the Heat. Everyone's downstairs watching this 20-inch TV that's like 20 feet up in the air. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna read this letter.
That was before the NBA was openly racist. That's when it was just closeted racist. Now it's openly racist. 2021. Go on.
Sidebar. So I read the letter, cry a little bit, feels great, wipe my tears off, and I'm walking on the second floor, just kind of like minding my own business. I walk by a room full of people, and I'm thinking, like, my first.
You say a room? Is that a cell?
Yeah, cell.
Okay.
There's like 10, 12.
Don't sugarcoat it. My audience can handle it. A fucking cell. Walk by a cell.
And there's a bunch of people in this room, and I'm like, what are they doing in there? My first thought was like, are they planning a breakout? Like, it was just such a first thought. And they were like, what up, homie? And I'm like, nothing. And they're like, do you believe in God? And I'm like, no. They're like, well, he believes in you. Come in here and have a seat. And I was like, okay, I don't have anything else to do. And I sat and I listened. And not to get too spiritual, but it was the first time in my life that I had felt the presence of God. And because I had been to church a bunch as a kid in the youth group, and like raised my hand a bunch when they were like, raise your hand if you receive Jesus. And like, I wasn't listening to a thing. I just heard raise your hand. I'm like, okay. But I had never, like my grandma was Catholic. I went to Catholic church with her from time to time. Very confused. But this was the first time that I had been given the opportunity as an adult to believe, and I felt it, and I wanted to change. So that was where I get this worldview from.
Did you, when you say you felt it, you were shaking?
I wasn't convulsing or anything. But like, it's hard to explain, right? I don't want to compare it to something worldly, but like, I don't know. What do you feel like? What did you feel like on your wedding day? Did you feel something different? Did you feel like an overflow of like love or anything like that during that moment?
No, but I've had that feeling, and periodically through life, it's awesome.
Or like your first kid being born, anything like that?
It's always at the most unexpected times.
So you felt this out of body experience. You may not have shaken though, right?
I've had the shaking. I've had the thing where definitely something fucking really fucking intense is going on, and it's not a it feels beyond physiological. It's not like hyperventilating. It's not
You have to be concerned. Yeah.
And I've had it a bunch of times in my life. I just have refused to attribute it to. I've refused to get to understand, to give it a worldly definition. I tell people all the time I don't believe in God, and one of the main reasons I do that is because I just don't believe in God, and I don't believe in anything. By believe, I mean I don't think a single idea is real. Racism is an idea. I don't think it's real. Red means stop. That's an idea. It's not real. To me, those are not real things. And when you think those things are real, you're conflating your ideas with reality. So like if I write something down on paper and it's a racist policy, then that piece of paper and that racist policy is real. And what is written on there is real. But the idea of racism, of hating someone for the color of their skin, is an idea. And so I just want to know stuff. I love ideas. I want to play with them. I love the idea of God, but I don't want to believe in God because I don't want it to interfere with knowing God. Does that make sense? With knowing something.
Yeah, that's really abstract. And
so and that's why I kind of like hate hanging out with people, because most people aren't willing to go anywhere in their head because they believe things. They've conflated belief and knowing, but anyway, without going too much further into it, and it's like money. Here's for example, people think money has value. It does not have inherent value. That's all. Yes, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay. But don't lie to yourself. Don't believe your own delusion. Don't, I had Lee Cavelli, the rapper, on the other day, and we were talking about, can you, being a black man and being born onto a planet where there's already a word waiting for you that you're supposed to be offended by and want to fight people if they say it. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, I can.
Who's spinning that fucking story?
I can.
Fuck that dude.
The complexity.
Fuck those people. No one should be born into a world where there's a word waiting for you that offends you.
Yeah, that's
fucking horse shit. And anyone who's propagating that and pushing that forward, fuck you. You're a fucking bad person. People should be born here with everyone around them thinking that they're beautiful and they have unlimited potential. How about that as a fucking just like an assumption? Anyway, sorry. Okay. So you walk by and you see us. So I'm starting to get the feeling. Like I'm starting to get the feeling.
I think that's anger.
I'm starting to get the feeling, Jared.
We call that a righteous anger in the world of Christianity.
Starting to get the feeling. My head's starting to tingle a little bit. I'm feeling the love.
Yeah. And just to touch on that for a second, I value the complexity of your thoughts. And I think it's people like you who, let's say, God willing, you ever come to know God, you'll have a very deep relationship because you have fought the fight of like, that can't possibly be real. And then when it becomes real to you, then it's really real. Does that make sense? Like,
yes. I'm with you. And my sister, who's a hardcore believer, she's like, man, you act and behave and think like a fucking Christian. What are you waiting for? And I go, hey man, if you're right, then maybe it's just God's plan. I have always viewed myself, like when you said you hit puberty late, I always viewed myself as a sunflower. And the sunflower takes fucking forever for the flower to come out. It's just growing the stalk and then more leaves. And then it's just like, I've always feel like I'm late to the game. Oh my God. Here, all my friends are going through puberty. All my friends got wives. All my friends got jobs. You're fucking homeless. You know what I mean? And now 49, I'm like, oh shit, I have the 3 best kids in the world and I'm independently wealthy. What the fuck? How did this happen? You know?
Yeah.
But so I just feel like I'm just a late bloomer. So maybe this is just to use maybe your paradigm or my sister's paradigm. I'm still being molded, but I really like the way you worded that. I'll probably pull that clip and put that on my Instagram.
Run with it. I will say this. I'll finish with this, and we can get back on
Did you cry in that cell?
During when I read that letter, yeah.
No, afterwards when you felt God.
When I got saved?
Yeah.
I probably almost did.
Okay.
Probably like kept it together. You know what I mean? I don't know these guys like that. So,
did they know
that I wasn't a believer, or that
that you got saved? Were they like,
yeah. It was kind of a moment. Like they prayed.
It must blow them away too.
Yeah, it's complicated to find God in jail because the next day most of these people go back to being criminals.
But it reasserts their faith because they saw something happen.
Yeah, it's magical. I mean, like I went to Nicaragua last week on a mission trip, and we got
David McFadden. I love Jared. Okay, so you went to Nicaragua. That's in the comments. I love Jared too. Go on.
Yeah, we did a mission trip in Nicaragua, and we got to see 3 people accept Jesus as their savior, and we got to baptize them. And it is an incredible experience to be there for someone like that. And the cool thing is, like, we weren't doing these really cool sermons that like kind of, can get people to raise their hand. Like we were speaking and we had translators. So there's no frill. There's no climax to these sermons. You know what I mean? But a few of these guys and girls just decided like, it's time. I feel the presence of God. And they even decided to publicly get baptized, even though, there's a process to that in Catholicism, which is the popular religion there. So it is a really cool experience to be a part of that. I think it's incredible. So it probably was cool for them to witness me accepting Jesus as my savior. And so, but I wanted to just say this, and we can get off of it. I'm no evangelist. I'm no, I do my best. But for you, Sevan, I would say that what you believe, or like the creation of the world, is one of the greatest questions you can ever ask yourself. And if there's a possibility that Jesus is the creator of the world, I would say maybe you should spend some time learning more about it, even if you're going to do it from a just a educational, like to
for sure
more. Because
what should I read? How should I do that? How should I learn? Yeah,
most Christians would say you should read the Bible, but I think that's kind of.
And I did. Well, that's not true. I listened to it on like the 77 audio tapes that I had of it when I was in, I don't know, in my 20s. Twice I listened to it. I listened to it again, though. It was great shit. And I accepted Jesus twice as my savior. And the second time, I've told the story a bunch. The second time, my sister was present. She's like, I thought you already accepted Jesus as your savior. She goes, yeah. She's like, well, that guy came up to you and asked you if you wanted to accept Jesus as your savior, and you did it again. I said, yeah, why not? I'll do it fucking 4 times.
So when did you decide that it wasn't real?
What wasn't real?
Like you've obviously rescinded that invitation.
No. I haven't rescinded. I'm not going to create a placeholder in my brain. When I think of God, when I think of my brain, I think of this circle. And when I think of God, experiencing God, it's when your circle is completely empty for whatever reason. And God, then that's the only time there's enough room for God to come into your circle, because he takes up, or she takes up, or it takes up your entire circle. The second you believe something like God is great, then that's a little thing inside of your circle. That's a belief, and God can't get into your circle. Does that make sense to you?
No, but I've spent time thinking about it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie to you.
It's my vessel. I can only know God. I feel like it's disrespectful to believe in God.
Okay.
I feel like it closes the opportunity. But maybe that's, I feel like it closes the opportunity to know God. I'm never like, when I've experienced this communion, there's never any thought with it. The thought comes afterward. It's the attribution to try to explain what the experience was or what happened, and that to prevent insanity. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's this like, oh shit, I need a fucking story to explain what just fucking happened, or else I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
Yeah, it could be somewhat of a narrative for some people, but that narrative could be true. And
okay, I'm open.
And if it is, the last thing you want is to not be on that train.
Oh, you know fuck I mean? Yeah, that's why I told my sister. I said, listen, this motherfucker, when I'm at the pearly gates, and he's like, well, you weren't going to Sunday school. Oh, well, listen, I was in Trafalgar Square in London. I accepted you. And then this other time I was at the park, Tilden Park in Berkeley, and I accepted you. So like, be cool, man. I was trying.
Okay. A couple of comments, then we can get back on.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So the cell thing. So, and did you have any experience with church or God before then?
Yeah. So,
you said Catholicism and your grandmother. Sorry. Yes.
You asked if there's something you could read. Maybe a couple of resources you can do with them. The book Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis.
Okay. So what was the name of the book again? You broke up.
Mere Christianity.
Okay.
And then Reasons for God.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm an extreme pragmatist, like to a fault. I'm always questioning everything, and I need to have like tangible evidence. And so, I've done the work, and so like, I'm not going to get into it, but from a like realistic perspective, I read somewhere, and I'm not going to like say this is true, but it's something that I read, that there's more historical evidence of the existence of Jesus than Adolf Hitler, but nobody questions Adolf Hitler. So anyways, if you choose to do the work, I would start there. There's something called Occam's razor, which is like this theory that to hedge your bet by believing in Jesus is a far less of a risk than to choose not to, and then to get to the end of your life and realize like you should have hedged your bet with the right player.
Word.
Occam's razor. But anyways, so I'm in jail. That happens. Where do you want to go from here?
I don't know. It was a great show. Thanks for coming on. I'll talk to you next week. Does that put you, when do you get out of jail? How do you get out? And is all that shit behind you? Like, do you have any more probations or like money you have to way behind you?
It still affects me. I got kicked off Airbnb.
What?
So stupid. Yeah. I'll tell you that story in a second. But, so I spent like a little over 2 months in jail. Ironically, this former friend of mine that stole a watch and sold it, and I was present. The person he stole the watch from was my best friend's parents.
Uh-huh.
And they're like my only rich friends that I had. they bailed me out of jail.
And knowing that that's some Christian shit right there.
Knowing that my friend stole the watch. I did not
Yeah.
steal it.
But they knew all that when they bailed you out?
Well, at first when I got arrested, they thought that I had something to do with it. And then when I wrote a letter and got a chance to explain, they knew that I wouldn't have done that. And so I don't believe that they're Christians, but either way, they're great people. And
God was working through them.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a great way to look at it.
Wait, hold on. I have to text the skate. Are we on today? There's this professional skateboarder in Sunnyvale that my kid goes to. His name's Josh. I don't know his last name.
Okay. That was my world.
He has a fat YouTube channel that he just started. He already has 40,000 subscribers. It's called like Skate Park Lessons or something. He just started. It's dope.
Blow up.
But basically, I'm supposed to go there today at 10 a.m., which would mean I have to get off the phone now because it's a long drive. But it's raining, so I think we keep going until he texts back. Okay, go on. Okay, so they bail you out. Oh no, yeah. So they bail you out.
Yeah, they bailed me out. That's how I got out. And then long story short, chose instead of 2 years in prison, I did 2 years on house arrest with 2 years of felony probation following that, and 60 days weekend work release, weekly drug tests, the whole nine.
Oh, so what it's like living in Australia right now?
Except when all your friends are at college and you're living in a little house in the middle of nowhere. But so yeah, I went back to telemarketing full time. I went to school full time, and I pursued a job because in jail I also found my passion or my calling for fitness. And so that was a big thing for me. I became the guy in jail that would make up workouts every day.
Just training with the vatos? Just fucking...
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
Damn.
And, because jail's a lot like quarantine workouts. Like we did calf raises up the stairs and pull-ups from the second floor standing on a trash can, dips on the payphone. You know what I mean? Like, and I had just gotten into fitness right before I got in jail. So because I had to quit smoking weed, I had to do something. I went to the gym. And there was a day in jail when I was making up a workout, because basically we ate breakfast at 4:30 in the morning. Most of us would go back to sleep, and then we had lunch around 12 or 1. And then after lunch, we'd normally work out. And so the guys would come to my room and be like, what are we doing today? Some of the beds, you could fold the legs. We would fold one leg and somebody would lay on the bed and we'd do bench press. You know what I mean? Like, you had to get really creative. So they'd be like, what's the workout today, Jared? And so one day, a guy in jail was like, Jared, you should be a personal trainer. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. I had always thought like be an accountant or be a business owner or be a math teacher, like just these normal jobs, or be a drug dealer. Like it was either that or the other thing. And so I was like, a personal trainer. He's like, yeah, they get paid to do what you're doing now. And I'm like, that's it for me. Like I'll do that all my life. So when I got out, I pursued that. I got NASM certified, but nobody would hire me because of the chicken and the egg problem, right? Like you don't have experience. But I had sales.
Okay. I thought you were talking about something else. Okay.
I got a job doing sales at a local Gold's Gym, and that's when I got into the industry. 6 months later, I was a sales manager at a different gym. Got promoted.
That's how Greg Glassman started, by the way.
Yeah, I think I had read that. And then I worked my way up. LA Fitness bought the gym, so I became a GM. Moved to Jacksonville to help open up 5 different LA Fitnesses that they were launching here.
Wow. Did Magic Johnson own LA Fitness?
No, it's an Asian guy and a group of investors out of Irving, California.
Okay.
Something Lee. Anyways, so that's what I did until I decided to leave LA Fitness. I took a leap of faith to open up a gym in Lakeland, which is where I was born and raised. To make another long story short, February 1st, 2015, I'm hungover after celebrating that I'm about to open up a gym. Had this investor that was going to give me $250,000. We started the renovations on Monday. It's a Super Bowl. It's my birthday.
Wow.
Just cloud nine. I'm 25, cloud nine. And the investor calls me that morning while I'm eating breakfast and says he can't do it.
Oh.
Yeah. So
what did he call you, or did one of his? Oh, well, that's cool. I mean, that sucks, but that's cool.
We had a personal. He was a client of mine when I was a trainer, so we had a personal relationship. He's in the steel plate tectonics business or something like that. So,
and are you like, no problem, buddy? I know it's God's master plan. This is totally cool.
no, my faith was, I would say my faith was convenient at that point, because obviously I was like, all right, well, I know God has a plan, but this effing sucks. Like,
yes.
And I looked at my buddy and I was like, hey, because that was my income too. Like, part of the investment was my income for the first year. And I was like, hey, can I stay on your couch for a couple months? And he was like, yeah, for like 3 months. It's cool. And so I started training one-on-one at Gold's Gym in Lakeland. Within a month, I was fully booked. I was happy. I was making a lot of money because I can sell and I can train really well. And so then I started Superfit Foods, May of 2015. So that's kind of like my career trajectory and entrepreneurial journey. Ended up starting E3, which is a consulting agency that I still run.
I saw that. Okay.
Yeah. And so, which is basically the best way I explain that is I'm a personal trainer for business owners. That's not like my tagline. I don't have like ClickFunnels that say that or anything.
Do you know Chris Cooper? Two Brain Business? Okay.
I know who he is. Yeah.
Okay.
They've taken their thing. Like, I'm not that into consulting. You know what I mean? So they've taken like what I do in a very small level, and they've made like a big business and a brand out of it. So yeah, man, that's kind of like the jail journey and the Christianity journey. I think we covered Zelos Games, and if you still got time, what do you want to talk about?
What do you do you need to work? Are you independently wealthy?
For now.
Right.
That runs out,
Yeah.
Especially if I keep launching online competitions for cash prizes without high-level sponsors.
So you can see the end of the runway.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not like a bajillionaire.
Yeah, life is weird. Life is weird like that. It's I mean, the good thing is you're still so young. Where's home now?
Well, technically, so I got rid of my place and sold my properties whenever I got on the road, and sold all my stuff. And I'm in an Airbnb in Jacksonville Beach right now. I haven't considered a place home yet, but this is where I land when I'm not traveling. Like I leave and I go to Austin next week, and I was in Nicaragua last week. And so I'm still traveling a whole lot, but I'm not on the road trip anymore.
Nicaragua is the church trip.
Yeah, we went with Mayhem Missions and Get Strong Ministries.
Oh shit! Rich does stuff in Nicaragua.
Rich didn't go, but Mayhem Missions hosted. Like, Jake Locker led the trip. He's the director of Mayhem Athlete.
Is that the thing? Is Jake Locker the Bachelor, the Bachelorette dude?
That's Luke Parker.
Did that dude go to Nicaragua?
He did not.
I thought I saw something on his Instagram where that dude was in like South America or something.
Yeah, they did. Him and Brian Nelson, which is one of the people that started Mayhem Missions, and a group of people, they went to somewhere else in South America. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
That actually looked like a pretty cool trip. I'm not usually into that kind of shit.
Dude, I highly recommend it. Especially, and this is obviously a plug for them, but like Get Strong Ministries runs the best mission trip I've ever done, because we're doing CrossFit with people, and then we get to do ministry from there. You know what I mean? Like, so at the base of what we do is like CrossFit, and it's CrossFitters. Like, these Nicaraguans are all CrossFitters now. Like, they've changed the community there. It's so cool.
I just remembered he was in the Amazon, and he had a little kid on his shoulders, the Amazon River, I think. And then one of his homies had a kid on his shoulders, and they were doing those chicken fights. You know how you used to do that? You get on the big kid's shoulder. Yeah. And I thought, holy shit, that looks fun.
Yeah, theirs was obviously a little different than ours, but I think if you do one with Mayhem Mission, it's going to end up being like-minded individuals. And
did you see crazy insects when you were there?
No. I mean, in Amazon is probably different than in Ocata, Nicaragua.
I spent a bunch of time in Nicaragua and Honduras and Belize and just all over there, taking vitamin. I was shooting documentaries that a company named Vitamin Angels was taking vitamin A to malnourished children. Cool. So I spent a ton of time down there in all those fucking countries. I think Panama might have been the only one I didn't go to. But man, I saw some crazy bugs. Crazy, just crazy. I can just remember, like, one night we were at some missionary, and I slept in this huge warehouse where they stored all this food and stuff to give people, and just the ceiling at night was just covered. When I lay there at night, the moonlight would just the ceiling was covered with like nests, wasp nests and spider nests, and just it's like an Indiana Jones movie, but you got a little net
Yeah, you're good.
It protects you from the mosquito that's like this big.
Dude, that's a little bit more. We were in Central America, so
They got it there. Yeah. It's everywhere south of San Diego got it. When's the next Zelos Games? When's the launch date?
We don't know. I mean, what I'm going to do is this ends on the 24th is the last day that you can sign up and submit. We're going to identify the top 10 overall. We're going to.
So that's 3 days from now.
Yeah, the last day is 3 days from now.
Okay.
And we're going to take care of the raffle prizes for the 30 people. We're going to distribute cash prizes to everybody by mid-November. And from there, I'm going to take an inventory of how October went. Like, this is a beta test, right? So I'm looking for data, looking at registration data. I'm going to send out surveys to registration people. I'm going to make calls to athletes. How can we do better? What attracted you to the Zelos Games? And I'm going to call people that did one competition, but not all three, and say, hey, why'd you do just one? Like, what could get you to do all three? What could we do differently? And then I'm going to make sure that we don't overlap with Wodapalooza qualifiers again. And I can't control what HQ does randomly, but I can, now that we've built, I would say, a brand in the space, I can try to work with people like Morning Chalk Up and O'Keefe just to make sure, like, I'm trying to create an opportunity. I'm not trying to compete with other competitions.
Right.
So if we can identify some times next year to host another online competition, I would say, so I don't know the answer to your question date-wise, but I know they can probably look forward to 2 or 3 of these series in 2022. And based off registrations, we can see an increase in prize money. And based on the sponsorship support, we can see an increase in prize money. So, but I don't know the date. I just know that they'll see something next year.
Is there an interest, which is different than a market, I guess? At least I'm trying to make it sound different than a market. Is there an interest for a platform that looks like the open platform where people can just sign up and work out every week and compare themselves to other people? Like when I first started doing CrossFit in 2006, 7, the main site was just filled. The comments had like hundreds and hundreds of comments, and all the top athletes in the world would put their time on there. So it would be like Fran, and then you would see like people's times 5 minutes or 9 minutes scaled or 2:30, and then someone would be like, fuck you didn't do that. And it was just this, and that's all main site was, people putting in their times. I wonder if there's any interest in that anymore. I guess that's what beyond the whiteboard. I guess those people do that, right? Or Sugar Wad. I'm just wondering if there's just one place that where someone could start it and it just be free, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's doing the same work. Say that again.
I would say that'd be difficult because everyone all over the world has to do the same workout, and not everybody wants to do this. They believe this programmer has the magic touch and this coach knows what they're doing. And, they probably do, but like, so getting everyone, the CrossFit space is so much bigger than.
Yeah, there used to just be one programmer, CrossFit.com. Now there's literally millions.
Exactly. So getting everybody on the same page when this person's ramping up and this person's ramping down, this person's in their off season, this person's retired, and this person's, that's difficult. And so, I think some programmers do a great job. Like Training Think Tank has their Saturday throwdowns every Saturday, and you get to see like the leaderboard for all the people doing Training Think Tank. And then, of course, now CrossFit launched this Move, Lift, Work thing, which I think just targets what I would call like the general population or the everyday athlete. And then Rogue will have their random challenges where you get to see people on that. So getting everybody all on the same page may not be something that you can, like CrossFit has built the open and that will always be it. I think I tried. Granted, this is a baby try,
Right.
But I don't have the runway to keep trying,
Right.
So
it's such a cool idea. It so needs to exist.
I appreciate it.
It so needs to exist. And
yeah, and maybe we go. I was gonna say maybe we have competitors that have to pay to play to be eligible for cash prize, but maybe we keep it open, like an open scale division that's free, and so people can see all over the world. And I'm just now thinking of that, and I think that's a great idea because if we can drive that much traffic to the page, then it'll provide value to the sponsors, and then maybe they can help me with the prize money. So maybe that's what we'll do.
Another thing to do is I wonder how it would work if the model was you had to pay. It's $20 per week
right now. Yeah.
I wonder if the model was different where you had to just pay all 60 up front, or
we'll
if it was
do that next time.
or if it was a different price to where like, hey, you have to be all in. I wonder how that would affect it.
Yeah,
People not to be a dick too, but people need to be strong armed. That's the whole thing with the open. Like it's 5 weeks or 7 weeks or however long they make that thing. You don't want to do it. At least for me, it was always so fucking stressful. But once you signed up for the whole thing, you just committed and you did it. And there was this monster sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, you're part of something special, I think.
Yeah.
I just think what we have to do has to be unique, because we can't build another open. Because it's not like the open is ultimately a qualifier for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So it's very important to a lot of athletes all over the world.
I get even more people, it's just a huge community event, right? I mean, for the vast majority. I wonder if maybe that's the piece that's missing. Like, how do you get how do you make the Zelos thing a community event?
Affiliates, man. And what we try to do is we just don't have the net that CrossFit HQ has, obviously. But affiliates is what makes the open successful, because for affiliates, the open is it's like a re-grand opening kind of thing. You know what I mean? They get to bring their friends, and some of their friends sign up. So it's a big sale proposition. And that's what I tried to communicate to the affiliates. Like, hey, leverage this as another opportunity to host an event, to have the people competing invite their friends, drink some beers afterwards. Like, let's have fun and like reinvigorate the community. But I just don't think I had the opportunity to communicate that. I mean, there's close to 14,000 affiliates all over the world. I emailed probably 4,000, but I probably talked on the phone with 15 to 20, right? Like, I can't personally make thousands of calls a day, Right. So, if it catches fire in that way, then it could be like the open. But I can't control that. That has to be a God thing. So we're arguing.
Dude, thanks for your time.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks for being open-minded about the conversation as well.
Always. Well, maybe not always. That blew by. Hour and we started at 7 hour and 51 minutes.
I would agree, man. I've never most of my friends make fun of me because I can't even hang out for more than like 90 minutes. So
I'm Justin Zizumbo, and I know you like your Z's, Jared. He has 2 Z's in his name. He says, it's not a sale proposition for affiliates. It's a celebration. We celebrate our current membership. I think he's talking about the open.
Sure.
It's not I don't know what that means. I don't even know what a sale proposition is.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a gym owner and if you have business acumen, then it's a little bit of both. But I can see, obviously, yes, it is. I'm not disagreeing. But if you want to generate new members, which every gym owner should be, if they want to have a profitable business model, then they need to leverage the open as a sale proposition. So I agree and disagree.
Word. All right. Peace and love.
See you, Sevan.
Wait, you don't get to hang up. I just send off.
Okay.
Wad Zombie, thank you so much for the $5. You're always awesome. Sounds like he's a member of Zelos Games. Okay, maybe. Thank you.
Hey, Sevan, you gonna be at Rogue?